Our life on this little blue planet can sometimes be a struggle. Most of the time, the simple person can't enjoy the moment because, as we know, the whole society is dependent on money. So, in order to get the comfort of life, we have to work very hard for it. And we know so many motivating quotes that can help us in the life path ahead of us, which is a bit like climbing a mountain. We have to fight for the best things in life. There is no victory without pain. You just work quietly. Let success speak. Some examples are that you need to imbue your life with the most important days of your life. Still, the question is whether there exists someone among us who could have given the majority away and exited these simple principles. Is there someone on this vast world who fired himself up so that he never sees his debt white and blue again? Of course. And in this video, we will be looking at those individuals. We will eat mushrooms. We will explore their paths and find out what drives them, as well as what habits they have made for the people they have become. And the main character of today's topic is none other than the always smiling and now even funny multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos. Just to be clear, this video doesn't want to give you any ideas like 10 steps to quick recovery, which will lead you straight to the Jeff Bezos team. Rather, we will get to know you, as well as your habits, which helped you reach the financial kana, which is only given to the few. Let's continue to see how these habits can help us achieve our goals, if we want to follow them. But let's start at the beginning. Anyone who has lived on this planet in the past 30, 40 years, I'm sure you've heard of Jeff Bezos and his work. I would also like to admit that the name of most of us has changed to success, money, and money. This is because of the word Amazon, which is now his multi-billion-dollar business, which made him world famous for his investments. A little background info from the current perspective. Jeff Bezos, who saw the world on the behalf of Jeffrey Preston Bezos, is a 60-year-old American businessman who is also a media owner and investor, although his main profile, which made him known, is that of the CEO and founder of Amazon, who founded it in 1994. He has now withdrawn from his previous position that Amazon cannot operate as a CEO. Despite the fact that he created a business based on the name of Amazon, Jeff Bezos managed to develop Amazon into the world's most successful and largest e-commerce company. This can be argued, but it can serve as our father's largest online trading market. So wherever you buy online, thank Jeff for making your life easier. The biggest result is that he was named the richest man in the world, and he has received this title several times. He held this title from 2017 to 2021 in his most profitable years. A year later, Elon Musk preceded him, but he became the richest man again in 2024 on the basis of the Forbes report. If you want accurate details, look here, in 2024, as he reaffirmed the name of the world's richest man, according to Jeff Bezos' fortune, at least $200 billion US dollars. His success is clearly visible on the company as well. In the 3 months of the year of 2024, Amazon has already reached the $1,821.43 billion value. In other words, this individual is incredibly rich. The question is, how did he achieve this? There is one thing I am completely sure of, and that is that Jeff Bezos' current success did not happen in a moment. But even the establishment of Amazon and the creation of the website did not bring instant wealth and abundance in 1994. Even he himself did not look like he would ever become a multimillionaire, let alone the richest man in the world. But seriously speaking, take a moment to look at Jeff Bezos, who was before Amazon's outstanding success. He looked older than he does today, as if he had been reborn for another purpose when he joined the company. He grew up from the beginning and was sure that he had a golden egg in his hand, which he later proved. However, unfortunately, if we copy the recipe of success, we will probably come across a very unlikely obstacle. The problem is that not all of us can have a billion-dollar plan like Amazon, and it would not really be of use if we simply dropped the concept in the hope that we would follow up on Bezos' success. There is no guarantee that if we establish a company that promises success, we will be able to execute it in reality, because it is much more difficult to change reality than to talk about it. So what do we do? First, let's take a look at the current Jeff Bezos. How can he maintain this financial empire? What are his intentions that he not only keeps his money in a good place, but is able to make even more investments. Maybe if we follow these habits, these precisely planned and planned plans, we can move forward in our own business, even if it is not related to Bezos and Amazon. Bezos has already walked the path of his success, and that does not mean that we have to follow the same path. But we can follow him, or rather, his choices can help us achieve our own success. So what does a man worth $200 billion do 24 hours a day? How can he turn his time and energy into 200%? Let's start with the simple steps that anyone can follow. It is said to lie down early, and as early as possible, you have to get up. In an interview made in a Washington business club in 2018, he said that he is sure to tie himself to this sleeping system. It sounds a little cynical that one of the most successful people lies down as early as possible, while we are still up in the late hours, hoping that we can get as much out of our performance hours. And it seems that most of us simply do not pay attention to what our organization needs, to rest, to fill up for the next day's tasks. But not like Jeff Bezos. He always tries to keep himself and his mind in top form, so he can have a pleasant night, so that he can start the day early so that things go well all the time. This is apparently a simple task, or rather a habit, that we can build into our daily routine, but it is actually very difficult to implement this. Let's not think of sleeping as a luxury, but look at it as what our body needs. Then, well, less public media before bed. This will help our sleep save time and wake up in the morning refreshed. What is the most important task in your daily routine? In order for the day to go smoothly, the constantly occupied businessman organizes all his important meetings in advance to make the most serious and most important decisions first, so that he can set the tasks for the others that require difficult and roundabout thinking. The fact is that Jeff Bezos himself said that after 5 p.m. in the afternoon, he no longer makes significant business decisions. And there is something in it. After the whole day of work was full of stress, you were already so tired that there was no room for information processing. This leads to inappropriate decisions that you would have avoided if you had thought about it with a clear head. So just think about how much pressure your abilities are under as you work hour after hour. And here's the dog. Place the tasks that require great attention in advance on your list and convince yourself that you use your brain's more creative half to fight off these serious tasks before you deal with the easier ones. This seems to be one of the most feared secrets of successful people, that they should always be successful. And no, learning to slow down does not mean at all that we should learn to play golf or anything like that. It just means that you are doing your homework at a relatively slower pace, of course, only when the situation makes it possible. Keep in mind that this is not a laziness-related concern related to work, as it would lead to the weakening of the preloads. Rather, as Jeff Bezos says, he uses the time defined by slowing down to create a stressful, relaxing time for him. For example, even if he has a hard day, he definitely saves time for his children and even for the work around the house. You can even work out. Have you noticed how Jeff Bezos' outer self has changed? The fact that you are running towards something where your mind can tie itself down creates a great balance between hard work and self-esteem. Don't forget, if you are going to achieve your huge goals in life, turn it back on with speed. There will always be certain cost effects in your work, whether they are related to the specific task that you are doing or just simple tricks. Whatever the reason may be, sometimes these situations can reach a certain limit, and in this case, everyone's opinion must be taken into account, plus you must react positively to them, especially if you want your colleagues to be confident in the ideas they come up with. The CEO of Amazon shares his own opinion about this. He insists that as the manager of the workplace, he will never be able to handle the attitude of the other members towards the final decision, which will eventually affect him. This, of course, does not mean that you have to be disrespectful and ignore everything you don't agree with. Bezos' idea is rather to be the one who is not afraid to confront the ideas with those who are on your way, even if it creates unpleasant situations. With the same perfect attitude, you have to make sure that no decision is taken until the end of the team. In a certain sense, this habit teaches the managers of the workplace to handle their colleagues properly. This also encourages the members of the working group to not just say ideas that come to their mind, but to express useful opinions that are based on critical thinking and help the way of thinking. If you act as a commander, then you need to know what kind of soldiers are involved in your mission. The same principle applies to your company, because you, as well as your colleagues, are literally dependent on each other. Let's take Bezos, for example. We would think that a person who has achieved such immeasurable success would dare to step out of his office to accompany him. But he is actually paying attention to regularly inspecting the business levels in the building in the afternoon schedule, so he meets the factory workers and his colleagues in person. Bezos is the leader of the company. One of the most prominent leaders of Amazon says this: learn and be curious. This important knowledge is also supported by the manager himself. In order for someone to become such an experienced leader as Jeff Bezos, you have to be proud of yourself and you should not be conscious. Always stay curious, so it helps to always be open to new and sometimes more modern points of view. The ultimate truth is that the world becomes much easier if we accept it as it is, because it always finds a way to knock you down and find out what your weak point is. However, as Jeff Bezos says, don't let it happen. Opportunities are limitless, which you can reach if you stick to them, even if you put obstacles in front of you. Bezos's way of thinking suggests that almost nothing can hinder us, which we create consciously. These are just a few things that Jeff Bezos shares about his daily habits with the general public. Among them, there is an obstacle that is only understandable to him, and some are based on explanations. There are still points that we have to accept critically in order to understand their knowledge. Even if we evaluate the real meaning of Bezos's words with a little knowledge, it can be a treasure chest that we will never understand. We must definitely become the next Jeff Bezos. However, by following and copying his habits and building them in our daily order, we can simply be successful. Who knows, maybe we can even be members of his exclusive billionaires club.